Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Book Nerd Nails. Today I'm going to show you how I created this beautiful set inspired by Iron Flame, written by Rebecca Yarros. This is just a disclaimer that I am not a professional. I am just a girl who loves to read, and I also love to have pretty nails. I've enjoyed creating these book-inspired nails so much and just bringing my favorite books to life in the form of wearable art. First, I have already pre-sized my nails and put them on my nail stands. I also did coat them in 2 layers of Builder Gel by Melody Susie just to give them a little bit of strength. For my base color, I'm going in with Glitter Jelly by Born Pretty. It is such a beautiful neutral pink. It's so light and bright, and I just really love the holographic glitter that's inside. With this design, I really wanted to focus more on the cover of the book. As you saw in the beginning, it's a lot of circles and triangles and clouds and different designs that might not make much sense now, but I really wanted to focus on this because it plays a big part in the book series, especially in Iron Flame. Iron Flame is the second book in the Empyrean series written by Rebecca Yarros. The first book is Fourth Wing. I also have a video on the nails I did for it. You can check that out on my channel. You can also see it on TikTok and Instagram. But back to Iron Flame. So Iron Flame is the second book. The third will be Onyx Storm. It has already come out. There is also talks of a fourth book to come out soon, I hope within the next year, because I'm so excited to dive into this series even more. I did cover a lot about the main characters and the plot of this story in my other video titled Fourth Wing Inspired Nails. We talked about the female main character, which is Violet Sorrengill, Xaden Ryerson, which is the male main character, Violet's dragons, Taryn and Andarna, and Xaden's dragon, Sigil. We also talked a little bit about some other characters, like Violet's best friend, Mariana, and Riddick, and of course Xaden's friends, which are known as the Marked Ones. There we have Garrick, and we have Imogen, and we have Bodhi. There's so many other characters that also play a huge part in this, but I cannot name them all in one video. If you have not checked out this series, I highly recommend that you do. It is such an amazing read, especially for fantasy readers, and also if you like some romance with your fantasy. Iron Flame still takes place in Bagscath War College. Now, this is where cadets can become riders, where they are selected by a dragon. There's also the infantry, the scribe quadrant, and the healers quadrant. Now, all of these people play a vital role in Bagscath. They all have an important job to play as these cadets get ready and prepare to go to war. Iron Flame takes place during Violet's second year here at Bagscath War College. Now, she has already been selected by 2 dragons, known as Taryn and Andarna. Throughout most of Iron Flame, Andarna is in a deep sleep, because in Fourth Wing, Andarna was just a feathertail, which means that she was just a child when she selected Violet as her rider. Normally, this is very unheard of, and there was a lot of controversy going on about whether she could be selected by 2 dragons, but also if she could be selected by a dragon so young. Violet has also come into her power, but not completely in Iron Flame. Her signet in Fourth Wing appears as a lightning wielder. Now, they have not seen a lightning wielder, especially one as powerful as Violet, in several hundred years. Xaden, her boyfriend, also is an extremely powerful shadow wielder. It's also at the end of Fourth Wing when Violet realizes that Xaden has been working with the resistance against Bagscath. Now, people in positions of power in Bagscath have been lying about Venin and Wyvern existing. So far, people have thought that all the attacks that are happening in nearby cities and at all the outposts are Griffin Riders. Now, the Griffin Riders are very important. The Griffin Riders are actually the resistance that Xaden is supplying with weapons to help them defend themselves against the Wyvern and the Venin. Since they live outside the wards of Bagscath, they are not protected by them, and these people are left defenseless and helpless against these attacks. They are also set up at the end of Fourth Wing, Xaden and Violet and their crew, when they are told to go to one place specifically for the end of their training, and they wind up in an ambush with a sage and several Wyvern to defend themselves from. This is also brought up in Iron Flame, as in the very beginning of the book, they are accused of lying about the existence of Wyvern and Venin. Now they soon get out of this by giving Violet's mother, Lieutenant Sorrengail, proof that they were set up in this endeavor. Now this is when the problems really start for Violet in Iron Flame, because Xaden has just finished his last year there at Bagscath, and he has graduated. Now he is a soldier on the front lines and at an outpost several hours away. This sets Violet and her friends and the rest of the Mark Ones up for assassination attempts, which are being constructed by Colonel Varish, which is their new commanding officer. Varish is a wicked man who loves to torture the cadets to get information out of them. He is also very aware of the existence of Wyvern and Venin. He is also aware that Xaden is the one supplying the resistance with daggers and weapons to protect themselves from the Wyvern and the Venin. He also tries to push Violet to her limit several times, trying to see the extent of her power, using school sessions to make her do lightning strikes over and over again until her body just gives out. Now this is the first form of torture he puts her through. He does kidnap her at one point and uses other people to torture her, to heal her. He also cuts her off from her dragon. Now, during this time, Andarna is asleep, so she has no idea any of this has happened to Violet. The problem is, Terran is very aware. While communication has been cut off between the two of them, he can still hear and feel her emotions. Varish uses this torture session to draw Xaden out from the outpost, causing him to break the law. He wants to use this to get rid of both of Xaden and Violet, but it doesn't work out in his favor. While Xaden comes to the rescue, he's there before anybody realizes it. But Violet has already been in this chamber for about 5 days, and she's barely alive. Xaden comes in and saves Violet while also unaliving several people who tried to stop him along the way. This is also when Violet's mother, General Sorrengail, realizes what Varish has been doing all this time. Now she asks Xaden to protect her daughter and take her away. When Violet awakes, she does not awake in Bagscath, nor does she awake in the outpost that Xaden was stationed at. She actually wakes up in his childhood home in Trendor. Now they call this new land Arteria. Also there are the Griffin Riders, along with some of Violet's family, like her sister and her brother, who was presumed dead for a very long time, and their friends that left with them when they realized what was really happening. Now these are the same Griffin Riders that had been accused of all the attacks that were actually the Wyvern. A few of the Griffin Riders that we see that are very important is Kat. Now she is actually Xaden's ex-girlfriend, and she does not like Violet at all. But I mean, who wouldn't be mad if they lost Xaden Ryerson? After Violet's recovery, they realize that there's a ward stone that stands in Arteria. Now there's also a ward stone in Bagscath, and that is what powers Bagscath. This is what provides all the protection and allows the riders to have control over their magic within this ward. Violet is desperately trying to find a way to power this ward. She has no idea how. This is also when Xaden starts trying to teach her about runes and about their history. There are several runes etched in the wardstone there, similar to those that are etched in the wardstone at Bagscath. Now, in a earlier interview with Rebecca Yarros, she mentioned that the covers had runes on them, but not just any runes. If you read about the descriptions in both Iron Flame and Fourth Wing, both of the runes on the covers depict different wardstones, the one at Bagscath and at the one in Arteria. During Iron Flame, Violet's trying to figure out what the runes really mean and what kind of power they can hold, and also how they can be powered. She needs to figure out how to power the one in Arteria so that it can be protected from Wyvern. See, Wyvern cannot enter the wards that are caused by the wardstone, and she wants to be able to keep Trendor safe, especially for Xaden, since he has now renounced his place at Bagscath and he has taken the throne in Trendor, or Arteria. Most of the books and languages were lost with the destruction of Trendor after Xaden's father was considered to be a traitor to their kind. So not much is known about the runes besides the people who grew up in that area, like Kat and the rest of the Griffin Riders, and of course Xaden and the Unmarked One. But since Violet's father was a scribe in the scribe quadrant, she was raised on a lot of the old languages, and she begins to decipher any text that she can find that talks about the wardstones. Now, she also realizes during this time that most of the books in Bagscath have been rewritten or have entirely just disappeared from history. Now, Violet knows that this is more of a cover-up to keep people quiet and to keep the secret of Venin and Wyvern existing. While Violet and Xaden and their group are in Arteria, they are attacked by several Wyvern and Venin. But Violet quickly figures out that she needs 6 dragons like the 6 original riders that powered the first wardstone in Bagscath. So she gathers 6 riders and 6 dragons to power this wardstone in Arteria. Although it works, it's not as powerful as the one in Bagscath, and she's not sure what she did wrong, but it's enough for now to protect them. As the Wyvern and the Venin come in, those Wyverns start to drop as soon as they enter the wards. Now, this offers Violet and them an advantage, as they see that when the Wyverns go through the wards, they turn to stone almost, and there's also a stone located inside their chest. It's here that they figure out that Venin are creating Wyvern. Wyvern are not born like dragons are, but they are made from a stone with a rune etched into it. Again, I said runes would be very important in this book, and they play a huge part in this story. But the wards also had one downfall. The wards prevent the Griffin Riders from being able to use their own magic. Again, their magic's not as powerful as the Dragon Riders, but they cannot use any of their magic, their mind-to-mind speak, or any of their controlling abilities like a cat has. She has a type of mind control or influence over people and their emotions. So this leaves the Griffin Riders at a huge disadvantage because they are left to have to fight hand-to-hand combat. Not long after the attack, and realizing how the wards affected the Griffin Riders, they all make the decision to go back to Bagscath. Now that Varish is gone, Violet and them feel safe enough to go back, but now they have to convince everyone at Bagscath to let the Griffin Riders come in. While people at Bagscath still consider Griffin Riders to be the enemy, Xaden made sure earlier on, when he saved Violet from Varish, that people knew about the existence of Wyvern. So his little stunt to distract everyone and save Violet was to have dragons carry the bodies of Wyvern into Bagscath and drop them through the wards, thus creating chaos and panic, and this allowed him to get Violet out. So now that people at Bagscath know that Wyvern and Venin really exist, some are siding with Violet and Xaden. Now some of these people still don't want Griffin Riders around because they feel that they are beneath them and they are very mean to them. There are also several assassination attempts against the Griffin Riders while they are there. One of the many reasons they decided to go back to Bagscath was to give Violet access to the libraries in the Scribe Quadrant. Now this has vital information for Violet because these are the oldest books in history. Again, she realizes a lot of the books are missing. Some of the originals or the text had been rewritten. This starts them on a hunt and also introduces Auric. Now he is a first year at Bagscath, but he has a secret identity and Auric is actually the prince. He is also the brother of Violet's ex-boyfriend. Auric uses his abilities to get Violet into secret chambers and allows her to search secret libraries. Now Auric is also precog and he has not told anybody of his abilities to see the future just yet. This is not something that they will realize until Onyx Storm. It is also during Iron Flame that Violet starts exhibiting symptoms of a second signet. While it's not wildly noticeable at first, she's dreamwalking. Now, many people speculate that this is not just dreamwalking, that she is mind-walking. Her second signet is considered to be intrinsic, which is an automatic death sentence for anybody with those abilities. Xaden and the marked ones also possess some of these abilities. Not all of them, but some of the characters do have a second secret signet. Now while Violet is trying to figure out how to make the Ward Stone stronger in Arteria, there are still attacks going on in neighboring cities. And while Violet and her friends are trying to uncover secrets in libraries and in ancient texts, Xaden is out fighting these battles against the Venin and Wyvern. Now this is a struggle for Xaden. Not that he's not strong, but earlier on in the book, he has turned Venin. Now I know this comes as a surprise to many people and it was heartbreaking to read, but he did so with good intention. He was trying to summon enough power to save Violet. Now, this is a struggle for Xaden because Venin don't just turn evil, but they crave power. And Violet, being a lightning wielder, she is told quite a few times that she is power in itself, and that her lightning is just how she prefers her magic to look. Now this causes a lot of rift between Violet and Xaden because they can't necessarily be together without Xaden risking hurting her. Now she doesn't believe that Xaden is turning evil and that she can save him. And that is where our story kind of ends, and it will pick back up in Onyx Storm. I do plan to create a nail set for Onyx Storm very soon, and I'm so excited about it because it was such an amazing book. Now for the finished look for my Iron Flame nails, I did of course go in with this very light pink base because I wanted to focus more on the cover of the book. And while I understand it's more orange and coppers and black, I really wanted to focus on the runes since they were such a big part of the story. And I think they turned out absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end and watching me create these beautiful nails and listening to the story of Iron Flame. I hope that you will consider reading this series. It is such an amazing fantasy read. There's tons of action and great character and world building, and it's just so beautiful. I'm so excited to create my next set of nails for this and excited for the future books to come. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel, and I hope that you will like, subscribe, and comment your favorite book series, and maybe I'll recreate it next.